Yep. Everything's good. Okay. Well, is everything good?
Good. Oh, now we can hear you. Yes.
Okay. Awesome. I think I heard a bit of an echo there. Okay. Melissa, thank you for the introduction. So, hello everyone. My name is Paulo. So just a quick introduction about me. I am the international student counselor here at Menlo. So I'm basically the person that handles all student applications on the international side. I'm basically the ones who help students in getting onboarded. So once you set an application, I will be your main point of contact until you get to campus. So I'm basically, like the advisor and the counselor of the students in order for them to get here to the college. And a couple more background about me. So I used to be an international student. So 7 years ago, I'm basically the same as everyone here. I was also applying to colleges, and I came to California in 2017. I went to De Anza College for 2 years, and then I transferred to Menlo College on my third year of college. So I was a Menlo student, went here for 2 years. I majored in marketing. And then after graduation, I got a job at a staffing agency. I was recruiting engineers. And after being there for 2 months, I got a call from our dean, and that's how I got this job. So now I'm here, fellow Menlo alum, working at the college, and it's been great so far. And like I said, I'm glad to pass off some knowledge to all the people here in this webinar. And let's go ahead and get started. All right, so I'm gonna go over Menlo College. So for some reason, a lot of the time, the audio for this video doesn't work. So if it doesn't work, Melissa, feel free to stop me, and I'll just skip over the video and talk about what is said in this video.
So, hi everyone. Today we're going to give you some insights of our wonderful school, Menlo College. I'm Valerie Carpach, class of 2026.
And I'm Sumi Banjo, class of 2023. We're going to show you a lot of amazing things that make Menlo College really special.
Let's go.
Menlo College is a small, private, four-year college.
As we're located in the heart of Silicon Valley, offering degrees in business and psychology.
With a student body of 800, Menlo students enjoy a tight-knit community while also appreciating the richness and diversity that bigger universities offer.
Our 14:1 student-faculty ratio provides plenty of individualized attention.
From sports to clubs to the arts, there's always something going on.
Beyond the campus, Menlo College is near San Francisco, where excitement, culture, and plenty of job opportunities await.
Menlo has developed a required internship program where students can get a jump start on their careers.
Our students come from all over the world to learn leadership, critical thinking, creativity, team building, communication, and the science of behavior.
Schedule your visit today.
So everyone, we had a lot of fun today, and we are looking forward to see you as soon as possible on campus of Menlo College.
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Bye.
All right.
So, hi.
So that's pretty much the rundown of Menlo College. So just to summarize everything that Valeria, she's also actually one of my students as well from Belarus. So we are a private four-year college. We are not a community college. So here in the US, one thing that will surprise you is that there are two types of colleges. There's community college and four-year colleges. Community college are only two-year colleges that do not offer a bachelor's degree. However, we are a four-year college, so we do offer degrees, bachelor's degrees in business and psychology. So I'm going to go over the student population later, but right now I just want to talk about our location. So we are located in Atherton, California. So has anybody heard of the term Bay Area or Silicon Valley? You don't have to speak through the mic, just show of hands, use the emoji. Who here has heard of the term Silicon Valley or Bay Area? Okay. Got a couple of thumbs up here. So looks like there's only a few handful who has heard of the Bay Area, Silicon Valley. No worries. So for those of you who don't know, Silicon Valley is basically, let me get rid of this. Silicon Valley is basically the place where the tech boom happened. So if you look at the map right here and see all the companies, these are some of the biggest tech companies in the world. I'm pretty sure most of you who are in Europe or even in other countries, you're already aware of most of these companies. We have NASA, Apple, Netflix, Google, Microsoft, Tesla. So we're basically at the center of Silicon Valley. So all the biggest tech companies, we are surrounded by those organizations and companies. That's actually reasons why a lot of our students or applicants go to our colleges, because of the opportunities, because of the location of the college. So many different opportunities, and a lot of students get hired in these companies after graduation. One thing you'll know about the United States is that it's such a big country that going from state to state is a wholly different experience. So if, let's say, you graduate from a state of, let's say, Kentucky or Louisiana, the opportunities, the job opportunities are entirely different compared to California, specifically the Bay Area, because this is where all the tech companies are, compared to some states in the Midwest, where it's going to be a lot harder getting hired. And not only that, it's also the networking opportunities. Since there's a lot of entrepreneurs and founders here in the Bay Area, it's a lot easier those people, which opens up a lot more opportunity compared to other states where those opportunities are a little bit more scarce. And that's actually one of the main selling point about going to our college, that we are surrounded by all these opportunities. Like I said, most of you who are in Europe, pretty sure most of you are already familiar with some of these companies. I'm not going to go over those companies because I'm pretty sure most of you are already familiar. All right, so that's pretty much about our location. We also have a couple of famous landmarks other than businesses. So we're very close to San Francisco. So we're very close to San Francisco, about a 40-minute drive. And we are also close to Half Moon Bay and Santa Cruz. And if you go down south, San Jose, Milpitas area, that's also a good place to be. Lake Tahoe, Yosemite, about a 4-hour drive from here. So if you want to get out of the city, if you want to change the scenery, also possible. And then if you want to go to SoCal or Southern California, as we call it, it's about a 6 to 7 hour drive. All right, so at Menlo, you'll fit in. We are a very diverse campus. We have a lot of international students on campus. In fact, 25% of our population are international students. That video I showed everyone earlier, majority of those students are actually internationals. So that's one of the advantages of going to Menlo College. We are a very rare college because if you look at our population compared to a lot of state schools and public universities here in California, our school is very, very different. Why? Because again, 25% of our students are international students, and that's only including our our regular non-athlete students. If you include the athletes as well, because we have a lot of international athletes, it can even go up to 45 to 50%. That's why our population is very, very different, and it's very international student friendly, because there's so many students from Europe, so many students from Asia. It's very easy for people to find their place here. And since we're a very small campus, that even adds to the student's social life. One thing you'll know about college, for those of you who haven't been to college, for those of you just getting out of high school, sometimes going to a big university can be a con, because if you go to a big university, it's quite hard to make friends and take your place, because again, it's a big university. It's harder to make friends because the people you meet at a big university, it's very hard to get a hold of them. Sometimes you see them in the next 6 months or 7 months. Whereas at Menlo, since we're a very small campus, the people you meet in orientation, there's a high likelihood that you're going to end up in the same class or end up in the same dorm. So that's the main selling point. If we go out of academics, that's actually one of the biggest advantages of going to Menlo College. It's an entirely different experience compared to other state schools, because everybody here probably knows where you come from, because we have a lot of students from Europe. And our top 6 countries are China, Japan, Italy, Germany, Spain, and France. I'm not sure about because the numbers got skewed right now. But correct me if I'm wrong, Melissa, but I believe majority of the students we got from last year are from France. So I'm not sure about the population of the current students, but from last year, majority of our students are from France. All right, now let's move forward. Now let's talk about the population once more. So we are a very small campus, as I said. We have a 14-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So what does that mean? On average, for every 1 professor, there is 14 students. So that's the average classroom size, 14-to-1. However, our maximum class size is 30. If you are taking your GE classes, and if you are a freshman or a sophomore, most likely you'll take classes that are a bit more in the higher capacity, like around 30, because all GE classes, you're in the same class as freshmen, juniors, seniors, and sophomores. For those of you who don't know what that means, freshman means first year, sophomore means second year, junior means third year, and senior means fourth year. I'm not sure if those terms exist in other countries, but that's how we call our students. So you're going to be with all the first, second year, third year, fourth year students in some of your GE classes. But as you become a senior or a junior, third or fourth year, that is, you'll find out that most of your class size are getting smaller because you're taking more of your major classes. So hope that's clear. And now let's talk about clubs. So we have about 40 plus student organizations on campus. So like all colleges and universities, clubs come and go all the time. I'm not familiar with all the active clubs on campus. However, we do have some clubs that have been around for decades now. There are some clubs that are like that. To give an example, the Pacific Islander Club. This club has been around for decades now, since the 90s, and still going strong. Our Latinx Club is also strong. Our International Student Club is also strong. One thing you'll know about clubs is that about clubs at Menlo, we have different clubs that cater to different interests. So we have clubs that cater to academics, that cater to work, employment, cater to culture, and cater to just having fun and recreational activities. So that's pretty much what Menlo is from a student standpoint. So now let's talk about more of the important parts, which is our majors. So these are our different majors. We have accounting, business analytics, entrepreneurship, finance, human resource management, international management, business management, marketing, psychology, real estate, and sports management. Like I said, we are solely a business and psychology school. Myself, I majored in marketing when I was here at Menlo College. And when you major in a specific program, you can also minor in some programs, such as accounting, business analytics, equity and justice studies, political science, and business development. And I believe I missed one here, and sports management as well. So you have an option to minor, but you also have the option to double major. Double majoring, it's definitely optional if you're quite torn on, if you just want to expand your skill set and maximize your chance of getting hired, you can double major. So one thing that a lot of people do not talk about, which I would like to address, is the graduation duration at Menlo College. So the average graduation duration at Menlo College is 4 years. And this is important for those of you parents, if there are parents who are in this webinar. This is very important to note. You want to take note of graduation duration because students are expected to graduate within 4 years. That's how it should be. 4-year graduation. After 4 years, you want to be out. You want your kid to be out of college already. That's how it's supposed to be. However, there are some universities and colleges in America where the graduation duration is 5.5 years. That's very common for state schools and public schools. So you might ask, how come some students take about 5.5 years to graduate? Well, there are multiple reasons, but the main reason is overpopulation. Some schools are very big. to the point where it's hard for students to register to classes. If this is confusing you, let me give you some context. I know in European countries, when a student enrolls in a college or university, the school register them for classes automatically. The school or university picks the classes for the student. All the student has to do is attend those classes. That's not how it works here in America, and it's also important for all the students here, because I want to set the expectations here. Here in America, the school does not pick the students' classes. It is up to the students to register for classes every semester. However, they're going to be assisted by an academic advisor. To give an example, let's say I major in management. I'm going to talk to my advisor. Hey, I want to major in management. I want to get out of here in 4 years. And what the advisor is going to do is they're going to make an ed plan for you from freshman year all the way to senior year. And it's the student's responsibility to register for those classes. But of course, it's not a perfect world. You know, sometimes a student fails a class. Sometimes a student switches majors. But again, the biggest problem for big universities is that students cannot register for the class that they need in order to move forward because it's overpopulated. Let's say they need to take math 210 and they can't register for 210 because it's already been filled because there's hundreds of students trying to get into that class. And that's the reason why a lot of students end up staying in college way longer. But in Menlo College, that's never a problem because we have an abundance of professors and classes that students don't have to worry about not registering for classes. Here in America, something that you'll see in other colleges, because I've been to a big college before, when students are going to register for classes, because class registration opens at the specific date and specific time, all of them have to set up a timer. They're literally waking up at like crazy hours just so they could register for classes. You don't have to worry about that here in Menlo, thankfully. So that's just something to keep in mind about going to college here in America. That's something that's a little different compared to some schools in Europe. Here in America, students get to register for classes. All right, hope that's clear. And hopefully a lot of parents are able to take that information and make decisions moving forward. So that's one thing you keep in mind is here in Menlo, the average graduation duration is 4 years. So if you think about it, after 4 years, you get hired, you're already getting a return on your investment because your kid can already start working. Compared to, let's say you end up going to college for 5.5 years. You're spending money in your education while the people who graduated early are already starting to earn their money. Something to keep in mind, something that's very important. I just want to address that here to set the expectations. All right, so those are different majors and programs. Let me go ahead and move forward. Now let's talk about the important part, which is the internship, because at the end of the day, the most important thing after you graduate is to get hired and start earning. One of the main thing about Menlo College, one of the things that we highlight is our internship program. We are one of the few schools in California that offers, that has a career services team. So what does the career services team do? The career services team helps students in writing a resume, building a cover letter, knowing how to pass job interviews and job search strategy. One thing, and this is for all the students out here that are listening, one of the best or most important skills you're going to learn is getting a job on campus. Finding a job itself, finding a job, getting hired is a skill in of itself. And it's highly, highly important because it doesn't matter which school you go to. It doesn't matter if you go to the biggest schools, Ivy League schools. It doesn't matter what your major is. Your success will definitely depend on you getting hired. And you'll be surprised that there are some students who went to big universities, big schools, top schools, but their job search strategy, job searching skills, and their interviewing skills is not as good. And it ended up them having trouble to get hired. So one thing you want to keep in mind is that you want to hone in your job search strategy, job searching skills as early as possible. Because again, the most important thing is to get hired. Thankfully, we have a career services team, like I said before, that helps students in job search strategy, because they help students in learning how to build a resume, how to do interviews, and how to search for jobs. It's a very different skill, and it's a very specific skills that's very important and something that you need to learn when you're in your junior year. And our internship program is top notch because we require students to take an internship, a mandatory internship after their junior year. So that's during the summer. So while a student is getting their internship, finishing their internship, they are required to go to class once a week for 2 hours, only once a week for 2 hours. But at the same time, they are getting 6 class credits during the internship program. So if you think about it, if you go through the internship program, not only you're getting the experience, which is the most important thing in the internship program. There's a lot of benefits you can get out of the internship program, but the biggest benefit is getting the experience, because that will help you in getting hired. So you're not only getting experience, you're also getting 6 class credits. That's 2 classes you're finishing in the summer. That's 2 classes, and you're only going to class once a week for 2 hours. And third, salary, if it's a paid internship, of course, because some internships are not paid depending on the company you get into. But those are 3 things you're getting from the internship program. You're getting the experience, which is the most important thing. You're getting a salary, and you're getting 6 class credits. And we have 500 plus internship partners worldwide. Every April of the year, which is, we call it internship season, we have a lot of hiring managers and recruiters from all over the Bay Area to come recruit our students in order for them to get internship and get a job off campus. It's one of the most important things that you need to keep in mind about Menlo College, because that's one of the most important things. Again, landing a job after graduation. And thankfully, we have a career services team that invites all the hiring managers and recruiters to come to our campus and recruit students. That's actually one of the most common ways to secure an internship is through Career Connect Day or career fairs. However, there's also multiple ways to land an internship. Me, unfortunately, it was during the pandemic, so I was not able to go to Career Connect Day. How I was able to get my internship is through online applications, which is very difficult. So if you're coming here to Menlo College, you're quite luckier because you get to speak to those recruiters face to face. All right, so we're gonna skip over the costs, but we're also gonna skip over the application process because if you're applying through Go Campus, it's gonna be quite a different process. But once you send your application, once we get your profile in hand in our system, like I said, I will be your main point of contact throughout your application. You can literally ask me any questions, because applying to a school from abroad, I know it's very daunting, very scary. You don't know where to start. You don't have a guide. Thankfully, if you're applying through Go Campus, you kind of have some sort of idea on how it goes. But that's the initial part. What about after you send the application? There's a lot of things you need to go through. You need to go through the onboarding process, the visa interviews, paying the I-901 fee, registering for classes, housing application. There's a lot of things to remember. And what we do is we always try to hold the student's hand and assist them throughout the whole entire process from A to Z. And me, I like to communicate with my students through WhatsApp, because a lot of students, they have questions that require immediate attention. So that's how I'm always available. I try to get in contact with students through WhatsApp, just so I can help them out every time they need me. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. And I believe, and that's pretty much, that concludes our presentation. Melissa, I'm going to pass it over to you and let me know when you want to start the Q&A session.
Sure. Thank you so much, Paolo, for the presentation. So as Paolo said, you can just ask your questions now. You can write them in the chat. You can unmute yourself. And yeah, do you have any questions?
Hi, I have a question. Thank you so much for this presentation. We have some students coming from France in January and also in fall. And I was just wondering, when will the campus open? When can our students arrive? Do you have a specific date that they can arrive by? Will they be able to stay on campus a couple of days before orientation, that kind of thing?
That's a good question. So the arrival for international students is a little bit different compared to domestic students. So international students are allowed to get to campus a little bit early. Let me go ahead and show you guys the calendar, the link to the calendar. So you know when is the best time to arrive. Okay, so for January, which is spring quarter, so for those of you, because I know it's quite different in other countries, so spring semester is from January to May. So if you're a spring student, if you're coming into spring, the earliest time you can go on campus or get into the dorms is January 18th. So if you guys want to write that down. So January 18th, that's the earliest time you can check in at the dorms, and then orientation will start on the 19th. So we always recommend students to arrive a day before orientation so that they can rest and recuperate. However, a lot of students prefer to arrive during orientation day. I don't recommend it because you might miss out on some activity. You know, you don't have time to rest. So I always recommend a day before. So for spring applicants, the earliest time you can arrive is January 18th. And then if you're a fall student, the earliest you can arrive on campus, by arrive on campus, I mean check into the dorms, is August 17th. That's the earliest time you can arrive. August 17th. So if you arrive, there's pretty much nothing going on campus, just to be quite frank. Because the purpose of August 17th is for international students to arrive and rest and recuperate. So there's not much going on. The activities will start in, let me check that for you. So for fall, it's going to be August 18th. So the day after. So that's orientation. That's when a lot of the activities start happening. And that's where most of the students start meeting each other. So August 18th. Now let's talk about arrival in the United States. So I know I said you can arrive August 17th and a little bit early during the spring. Those are the days where you can arrive on campus, but you can also arrive in America a little bit earlier. So in America, the rule is you can arrive in the United States no more than 30 days from your start date. So what does that mean? So your start date is not your orientation date, but it's the first day of classes. To give you an example, fall will start in August 21st. That's the first day of classes. Now you can arrive in the United States no more than 30 days. So if you think about it, that's going to be July 21st. So technically that's the earliest time you can arrive in America. However, before August 17, you're gonna unfortunately have to find a place to stay because dorms are not open. But you know, a lot of our students arrive a lot earlier than check-in day, but you know, they usually just go on vacations with their family, rent hotels. But yes, you can arrive no more than 30 days, but you're gonna have to find a place to stay. And the earliest time you can arrive is on the 17th. Sorry, that's a very long answer, Megan, but hopefully you got a lot of information out of that.
Perfect, great information. Thank you so much.
All right. I believe so. Somebody type in the chat. Can you talk about the scholarships? So scholarships, I'm not sure if I can talk about scholarships, but we do, because we do offer international student scholarships, and there's a specific scholarship for Go Campus students. So if you're applying through Go Campus, there's a specific scholarship that you're gonna get. So that is something to discuss with Go Campus. I'm not sure if have the authority to talk about it here in this presentation. Correct me if I'm wrong, Melissa.
Yeah, so short to answer your question, I think it would be best if you just reach out to the agent in your home country. So I believe it's France, so you can reach out to Megan. Well, they will be able to answer you all your questions about scholarships. They will explain to you how the process looks like, what do you need to do to receive the scholarship, and so on. So yeah, just reach out to your agent. And do you have any other questions?
And guys, don't limit your questions to academics and all the important stuff. You can also ask questions about campus life, what to do here on campus, because that's very important. Those things are very important. You're investing in your education here in the US. You're flying thousands of miles away from home, so you want to make the most out of your experience. Yes, it's important to get your degree, get a job, but it's also important for you to have fun on campus and have a good time. So if you have questions about those things at all, feel free to ask me. Okay, we got another question. What jobs are available on campus and how much can a student earn? Dilva, this is a great question. I am glad that you asked this question. For some reason, I don't know why I did not mention this in my presentation earlier, but yes, we have an abundance of jobs on campus. So here in this building alone, the admissions office, we actually have a lot of international students that are working in this building. I even have one student who's also a Go Campus student from Italy. He is actually my student assistant from Italy. So what jobs are on campus? There's a lot. I'm gonna name a couple that I know, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna miss a couple because there are new jobs that get created every year, every semester. But now, as a employee of Menlo College and when I was a student, here are the positions that I know. Most common is student ambassador, which is the job I had when I was a student. One of the best jobs on campus. So student ambassadors are the ones that work here in the admissions office, and they're basically the representatives of the school. You can do tutoring. You can work in the library. You can work in the mailroom. You can work in the cafeteria. You can work in administration. You can work in athletics, assistant athletics. You can work for a professor. Some professors need assistants, whether it's for a program that they're trying to create, or whether they just need help in administrative stuff as a professor. Those are options. The library, not sure if I mentioned that. The fitness center. What else did I miss? You can even work as an IT assistant. I've seen some students do that. So I've basically mentioned more than 10. So far, those are the ones that I know. Also SGA and resident assistant. Those are also good jobs. There's a lot. I think I mentioned just 12 or 14. And that's already a lot of jobs on campus that you can apply for. And like I said, those are the ones that I'm familiar with. I'm pretty sure there are way more jobs that I'm just not aware of. And the good thing about Menlo College is applying to jobs is actually not quite, like a lot easier compared to other colleges. Because in other colleges, in order for you to land a job, you literally have to walk into the departments and ask, hey, do you have a job opening? And sometimes a lot of students there, they go on job boards, they look at the bulletin and see what is open. So it's quite difficult. Whereas at Menlo College, we have an app called Handshake, which is through your phone. Once you enroll at Menlo College, you will automatically be created an account. And when there are openings around campus, all the jobs on campus that are available, it's going to be available on that app. So literally every opening, once orientation starts, you go on Handshake, you see all the job openings on campus. So you can craft one resume. You can create one resume and send it to multiple departments. If there are, let's say, 15 job openings, you can send your resume to 15 job openings and see who hires you. So that's how easy it is to get a job on campus. And majority of our students work part-time, and majority of our student employees are international students because they want to earn some extra cash on the side to support themselves. while they're here in America. And I believe you also asked how much can a student earn approximately. Another good question. So yeah, this is something that I can definitely disclose. It depends. Well, minimum wage has been changing here in America, so students can earn approximately from $14 an hour to $17 an hour. It depends on which department. Some departments pay a little bit more. Some departments pay a little bit less. If you want the highest earning jobs here on campus for students, I believe the library pays pretty well, but it depends. And you're getting paid per hour. So here in America, international students can only work a maximum of 20 hours a week. So that's your maximum. If you want to earn the maximum potential, 20 hours a week is the maximum. And students, international students are not allowed to work off campus. You can only work on campus. But you guys have the advantage because there's a lot of jobs available here on campus. So Dilva, hope that answers your question. That's quite a little long, but I thought I'd just you know, give it all out there. All right. Question from John. Homemates. Yes. So we have dorms on campus. In fact, 95% of our students live on campus. And yes, you can have dorms. I'm not sure what your question is specifically about homemates or roommates. But yeah, students usually have roommates. If you're coming as a Go Campus student, you are required to go get a triple room. So if you get a triple room, you're probably going to get around, oh no, sorry, it's not around. You're guaranteed to get 2 more roommates. So you're going to be with 2 other people if you select a triple room. However, there is an option where you can select a single or double, but unfortunately, you're going to have to pay extra for that, but it's totally up to the students. You can choose to not have a roommate. However, and just a single roommate. However, the spots fill out quick and it costs a little bit more. But again, it's optional.
Paolo,
Alright.
question about the roommates. Are they also American roommates, or is it mostly international students together in a triple room?
It depends. Most of the time, if it's a triple room, this is housing. Admissions has nothing to do with this. But from what I've seen, the housing department, if it's a triple room, they usually place for a triple room, they usually do 2 international students and 1 American. Oh, that's weird. I don't know how those balloons popped up. Okay. So yeah, if it's a triple room, most likely it's going to be 2 international students and 1 American. We like to have 1 international student stay with another international student just to get that comfort, because I think it's a lot easier to connect from a fellow international student with another international student. But also you want to hone in your English skills. That's why we place international students with Americans. So that's usually how it works. It can be different sometimes based on how many international students are able to enroll for the year, how many domestic students we have. It totally depends, but on average, that's usually how it looks. All right. Question from Megan. What extracurricular activities and sports does Menlo offer? Okay. So we have 16 varsity sports on campus. So our biggest sports are wrestling, volleyball, basketball, baseball, and soccer. Those are biggest sports on campus. One thing you got to know about varsity sports is it's a little bit more competitive. Yes, in order to play sport for the college, you have to be a high-level athlete. And usually how students become athletes is they get recruited by the coaches. What does that mean? It's not usually the students that try out and apply for sports. That's usually not how it goes. A lot of our coaches recruit overseas. They go to meets, they go to games and scout out the best talent. And that's how they're able to get students to play for a college. It's still possible to try out, yes, but it's quite difficult, to be quite frank, because they already have a list of students that they're trying to recruit for the sport. And then, so that's a competitive sports. We do not have intramurals here in America. That is only available in certain countries, but here in America, we don't have intramurals. All the universities and colleges, we do not have that, but we do have club sports, or what we call co-ed sports. We have dance team here at Menlo College, as well as a weightlifting team. So the dance team and the weightlifting team is not a varsity sport, but it's more of like a hobby sport. But we have coaches that help students in those programs. So Megan, hope that answers your question. I'm gonna go ahead and move over to the next one.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Would you consider the university to be diverse when it comes to professors and students? Yes, extremely diverse. So in the presentation earlier, I mentioned that 25% of our students are international students. So our top 6 countries are China, Japan, Spain, Italy, Germany, and France. So those are top 6, but those are not the only countries that we represent. Right now, our international population consists of about 41 different countries. So that's 41 different countries that we have. So it's super diverse. On top of that, we have the Americans as well. And American population is also diverse because we have students that are local, people who grew up here in this area. We also have people who are from Southern California and out of state, as well as Hawaii. So it's extremely diverse. And the professors, there's actually a catalog where you can see all the professors' background, and extremely diverse. We have professors from all over the country. One thing you'll see is that Menlo College sponsored a lot of professors from abroad to work here at Menlo College. So that one puts in a factor of how diverse we are. And we also have professors from multiple backgrounds. We have professors who started their own businesses. We have professors who even went to law school, which is surprising. Professors who have MBA, masters, people who worked in advertising, in accounting, in finance. Extremely diverse. We have a catalog. Unfortunately, I don't have the catalog with me, but there's a place in the website where you can see all the credentials of the professors, and all of them have crazy background. A lot of them are actually retired from work. They're teaching at Menlo College just because they want to, just so they can pass off some knowledge. You'll see a lot of professors who are in that situation. We have full-time professors who do this full-time, but we also have professors who do it part-time because they're retired. They just want to pass off the knowledge. So that's how diverse our campus is. Shirley, hopefully that answers your question. And let me go ahead and move over to the next one. Megan, when can students subscribe to Menlo Insurance? Another good question. I'm glad that you're thinking ahead. So yes, we have a Menlo College health insurance. So the health insurance you will automatically be enrolled after you enroll to Menlo College. There's no paperwork you need to sign. So we have a health insurance waiver. Unfortunately, it's not available for international students. Once you enroll in the college, all you have to do is do nothing, pretty much. Do nothing, and you'll automatically be enrolled in health insurance. And once you apply to Menlo College, if you want to learn more about their health insurance coverage, all you need to do is email me, and I'll send you the PDF file where you can access all the information about the health insurance. But there's no specific time where you need to apply. You will automatically be enrolled in health insurance. So, all right. We have a question from Jessica. What if I don't meet the English requirements? Another good question. And I just got another question, so I'm gonna just put these 2 questions together. What score do you need to get TOEFL? So for a TOEFL score, the minimum passing score is 74. Let me write that down so you guys can see it. So minimum passing score is 74 on the TOEFL. Now there are multiple English tests out there. There's Duolingo, which is what I recommend because it's the most convenient, easiest one. So you have Duolingo and you have IELTS. Duolingo, you need 101, and for IELTS, you need 6.5. Let me go ahead and send you guys the link for the passing score. Give me 1 second here, so you guys know what to expect. You can also use SATs. Oh, yes, Lorenzo, you can have my email. There you go. All right, where was I? So if you go through that link, you'll see all the passing scores for an English test course. Now, what if you don't get the minimum passing score? Good question. Now you have two options. First option is to go through our intensive English program, which lasts for about a semester. What is the intensive English program? It's a 6-month program where all you do is learn English for the entire semester. It's a special class. So the class taking the intensive English program, it doesn't count towards your graduation, because again, the goal is for you to get good enough in your English so that when you go to the traditional program, when you start taking classes, there's no English barrier. You're not going to have a tough time because of your English skills. So that's one option. You can join our intensive English program, and before you do that, you will need to go through an assessment interview with director Eric Baki. So the goal is for him to test your English skills and see which category you will be placed at in the English program. So that's option number one. Option number two, you can resend an English test score. So I hope that's clear. Again, you have option, either go through the interview and go through the intensive English program, or submit the test score. And by the way, after you finish the intensive English program, then I don't know why the balloons keep popping up. That's funny. All right. So once you finish intensive English program, then you can go ahead and sign up for the traditional program. Then you can start taking classes that counts towards your graduation.
I'm sorry.
That's a good question.
One question about that. Sorry if you already mentioned it, but do all students get admitted to the ESL program if they don't meet the requirements, or do they have to meet any English requirements also to be admitted to the intensive English program?
Good question. There's no specific test score or requirements to get to the intensive English program. The interview, it's not an exam, it's an assessment interview. So there's no passing or failing for the intensive English program. The goal of the interview is so that our director has a sense of what your English level is at, so that it's going to help them in teaching you English once you are enrolled at Menlo College. So there's no specific specific requirement. There's no specific score. You can be at the lowest level of English, and you still can be admitted. Again, the goal is to test where your English skills is at.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Here, can international students do the California driver's license and, for example, rent a car? Yes, it's definitely possible to get a driver's license. But I just want to be frank, it's quite difficult to get a license if you're international students, and I'll tell you why. Because the organization is called DMV. DMV is the organization where you get your license. The problem with the DMV is that when you send in your application, for some reason, they still don't know what an international student is, and they still get quite confused how to process your documents, because they're not knowledgeable and how immigration works, and what they don't even know what an international student is. They don't know what an F1 visa is. They don't know anything about that. So when you apply, they're like, oh, how does this work? Like, they don't know anything. But I have a tip, and this is coming from personal experience. My recommendation is for you to get a social security number before you apply for a license. I'm not sure if there's social security in Europe. So social security is basically your identification number. So all people here in America has a social security. How do you get that? First, you will need a job offer from the school. After you get a job offer, then you will apply for a social security number here in Redwood City. It takes about 2 weeks to complete. After you get your social security number, then apply for a license, because then it will be a lot easier for the DMV to process your application to apply for a license. that's my recommendation, just something to watch out for, because I don't want everyone here to go through a headache of applying for a license and then the DMV takes a while to respond or they get confused. It's a headache. I went through that, and I don't want everyone here to experience that as well. So my recommendation, get a job offer first, get your social security, and then apply for a license. It's going to make things a lot easier. However, I do know here in America, if you have a European license, you can drive legally for about 2 to 3 months. Don't quote me on that. Please do your own research, but I believe it's around 2 to 3 months. So yes, you can drive using your European license, but only for a specific amount of time. And rental car, yes, you can rent a car. You can even use your foreign license to drive, but again, it's only temporary. We've had students and parents who have done that. You know, they use their international license to rent a car. So yeah, it's definitely possible. Hopefully that helps. All right, I'm gonna go move on to the next question. Is Duolingo easier than TOEFL? In some ways, yes. The reason why Duolingo is easier than TOEFL, I don't know about the questions, because all the English test scores they test your speaking skills, your reading skills, your sorry about that, student. Their listening skills, speaking skills, and what else are they looking for? Reading, listening, and speaking. I think I mentioned all those already. Anyway, so they measure your skills in all those aspects, right? And then they're going to grade you on that. So that's what Duolingo, TOEFL, and IELTS do for you. So the reason why I say Duolingo is a little bit easier than TOEFL is Duolingo, you can take it from your house. You can take it from your home. And you don't necessarily need to set up an appointment. You can literally sign up, make an account, and take the test from there. And they also have a lot of practice tests that you can do that will predict your grade before you take the test. So that's why I always recommend Duolingo, because it's very convenient. I can't say whether the test itself is easier than TOEFL, but it's actually a lot more convenient. All right. Hope that helps. Next question is, when we'll be able to get the student visa? So you will get the student visa. So here's how it works. I think it's best if I go through the application. So let's say you apply through Go Campus, right? You send all your application, and then I message you, you get accepted. Once you get accepted, you will need to pay a deposit. Once you pay a deposit, that's your way of saying, hey, I want to enroll at Menlo College. I want to commit to Menlo College. Once we receive your deposit, we will send you a document called an I-20. Now, all right, so all students, this is very important. The I-20 is a document proving that you are an international student. It's a very important document. You will need to keep your I-20 from the moment you enter the United States all the way till you exit. It's a very important document. You cannot lose I-20 because your proof of showing that you are a student or legally studying here in the US. So once we receive your deposit, once you commit to Menlo, we will send you an I-20. Once you receive the I-20, you will then pay a CVIS fee through the government website. We don't need to go through the ins and outs of that, but you'll need to go pay the CVIS fee the government website. After that, you will need to schedule a visa interview in your city. If there's no availability in your city, you can go out of the country to schedule your visa interview or to a different city. After you schedule your visa interview, of course, you will go through the interview. And after you finish the interview, then you will know whether you get your visa or not. And if you pass the visa interview, the interviewer will take your passport and then they will send it back to you through mail in about 1 to 2 weeks. So that's how it works. That's how you're able to get your visa. So when will you get your visa? I don't have a specific date because, again, it depends on when you schedule your visa and when you get your I-20. If you're coming from Europe, passing the interview is fairly easy. That shouldn't be a worry. But yeah, after you pass the interview, they'll take your passport, they'll stamp it with your visa, and then send it back to you at your address in about 1 to 2 weeks. So hope that helps. question from John, can we join a frat as an international student? We do not have fraternities at Menlo College. There's already a lot of activities going on, but no, we do not have a fraternity here on campus.
What can students do during semester breaks? Can they stay on campus? Is there anything open? What options do they have?
Yes, our campus is open for international students during winter break and summer break, but you will have to notify housing if you want to stay. Usually, in the summer, to be quite frank, there's not much going on campus during the summer. There are barely any activities because usually students are back home. But for students who decide to stay on campus during the summer, a lot of them usually they hang out with fellow students who are here on campus and they just hang out off campus. That's usually how it is. Because in the summer, all colleges, all universities, there's literally nothing going on. Not just in Menlo, but all colleges, all universities. The campus is dead, like literally dead. The only thing that is happening in the summer is sports team. They're usually practicing. That's why they stay in the dorms. But other than that, there's not much going on campus. To the students to come up with ways to, have fun and entertain themselves. What I usually know, what I heard from the students, they usually, just go off campus, hang out in Santa Cruz, go to LA, just go on an adventure across America if they can't go back to their home country for some reason. So yeah, that's pretty much how it is during the summer here.
Hey, are there any last questions?
Oh, Melissa, I just want to add on to that. So in the summer, another thing that a lot of international students do is they work full time. So as I said before, you can only work 20 hours a week maximum as an international student. However, during the summer, you can actually work for 40 hours. So it's a good time for you to earn a lot of cash, a lot of money, if you have a lot of free time in the summer. And Jessica, is it still possible to apply for the spring semester? Yes, 100%. Yes, feel free to send in the application for spring. I know January is a couple of months away, but yes, it's still possible. It's even a lot easier if you're in Europe because all you need to do is send all your documents, all your application. Once you get accepted, it's easy to schedule a visa interview. You don't need to wait months. So yes, it's still possible. You can even start applying in December. It's not a short notice. So it's definitely possible. So yes, please do. If you're still interested in the spring, please send your application and we'll take care of you. Could you take ACT scores instead of TOEFL? Yes, you can actually. This is something that we probably have not articulated in the past, but yes, you can actually take an ACT as long as your score is above 16. The ACT can be a supplement to the English proficiency test score. How much money you recommend bringing for each month? How much money does an average student spend per month on living, food besides the scholarship? All right. This question is different from student to student because students have different lifestyle. There are students who spend a crazy amount of money, but there are also some students who are a little bit frugal. So this is more personal. It's something it's very hard to recommend because students have different lifestyles. Like I said, there are students who spend a lot of money, there's students who spend less money. But one thing I want to point out, Nicole, is if you live on campus, which are required actually, if you live on campus, food is already included. You no longer have to worry about food because if you live on campus, you will get meals 3 times a day. So you're going to get breakfast, lunch, and dinner 5 days a week. So food, you no longer have to worry about it. But of course, you don't always want to eat food in the campus. Sometimes you want to go out with your friends, so you want to eat out. But doable. If I were a student, I can get away with $200 a week here at Menlo College because there's already a lot of things to do here on campus. If you want to go out, I think $200 a week is enough. And you don't necessarily need to have a car because I guarantee if you live on campus, you're gonna make a friend who has a car. That's usually how it is. In that big friend group, there's always that one guy who always has a car and drives everyone. That's how it is. You don't necessarily need a car. So $200, you can get away with $200. If you really want to be frugal, $500 a month is even possible. I can get away with $500 a month. You can do that. Some students spend thousands of dollars a week, a month. It depends on the student. But it is possible. I've seen students who, spend thousand dollars per month on non-necessities. So yeah, it depends. It depends on you, Nicole. It depends on your lifestyle. But yeah, that's my recommendation.
Okay, maybe one last question, if there is. Okay, otherwise, well, thank you so much for your time, Paolo. Thank you for answering all the questions. I think it was very helpful. I hope that all your questions got answered. If you still have questions, you have Paolo's email address now, so you can contact him directly or also reach out to your sending office in your home country. So yes, thank you so much. Thank you for joining and have a great evening.
All right. Oh, before we go, I went ahead and typed in my WhatsApp too. And yeah, it was great having you guys, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.